Hey guys, it's Rob here. I'm gonna make another video because the other one got like 100 something views and I was really surprised at that, so I'm glad. Hopefully that helps some people. But today, I've cooked up something crazy. I'm gonna do an inferno, sub 65, and I'm not gonna prayer flick, or at least I'm gonna prayer flick the minimal possible. Taking the same setup as last time. Definitely recommend Devouts and Lightbearer. And you're just gonna have to watch and learn. This is some crazy stuff. I just found this today, and I just had to share this. So, so we're just gonna get right into it, I guess. So the TLDR of this is we're gonna use Hawkeye for the whole entire run, except for the end. We can camp rigger because we're gonna have enough prayer left over. So basically, we're not gonna have to flick at all, except for against the attacks of the monsters. And that's gonna make our lives like really easy. So, and if you're like thinking right now like that's not gonna work, you're not gonna get sub 65, this is BS, like hold on, like just you wait, because this is some crazy stuff. Like I thought the same thing, but this is actually crazy. So basically we're just gonna start off, turn it on, and it'll probably never come off for the rest of the run. It's actually kind of crazy. Now, the kind of idea here is you want to focus on all the other things a little bit more because you're getting a little less DPS. So you want to like not miss ticks if possible, but this is gonna be like, this is like crazy. Like, I still can't believe how crazy this is. But you literally never have to take it off, so like just chill. You can keep Hawkeye on the whole entire time. And this is like I'm just in disbelief at this. I think this is crazy because I did a run earlier and it was almost sub 60 and I didn't flick hardly at all. You do want to pray against the blob, of course, though. This is like literally, I'm gonna do minimal effort. We're gonna just chill, and I'm gonna try to think of things to talk about because it's gonna be 60 minutes of Inferno, so here goes nothing. But I really had to share. This is like actually just crazy. And really, if you watch the last one, you're gonna see I do most of the same stuff here. The one thing I want to do better this time is I do want to do the healers properly, because healers in the last vid was not ideal, I'll put it that way. Here, I'll just kill the bats first. Can always blood barrage on the bloblets. But you'll see, like, over time, like, you'll see, like, I'm still doing really good DPS, and my prayer situation is just, like, crazy for the amount of effort. Like, you know, okay, I'll turn off prayer range in between waves, sure. But, like, I am not flicking, like, hardly at all. Like, I'll never even turn off this prayer, probably. I'm just gonna keep the 10% range prayer on the whole time. Basically, the way this works is the 10% prayer, it drains a quarter of the prayer that rigger drains, which is like crazy, but it does like, it boosts like about half, so it's really quite good actually. Like you'll see, like I'm still killing stuff, like stuff's still dying. It's not even like, I mean really you have all these other boosts, you want to make sure you're on task, of course, you want to make sure you're always potted. So like those things still matter, and arguably they matter a little more even, but I don't know why I'm praying mage here, but so arguably all the other stuff's a little more important when you're doing this, but you don't have to worry about flicking at all. Like you'll see, like I am not putting any effort into conserving my prayer whatsoever. That's gonna be how it is the whole entire cave. Just chilling and killing stuff, basically. Just focusing on like trying to not miss ticks, so I'm like running towards stuff a little bit here. Running away from the melee. And now I pray melee and kill the melee. I mean, this is like, I think if anyone's having trouble with sub 65, this is actually like probably the way to go. Like I'm still in shock at this method. This is like absurd. You know, some people think like, oh, like it's lame, you're not getting the same DPS, but like you'll see, like I still do some damage. Like it's really not, I mean 29 is my max. I'm still using Amethyst. I'm not even using Dragon, so whatever time I get in this video, like you could easily get a little faster if you do Dragon. I'm just leaving it on. Like the goal is like I'm gonna leave it on the whole entire time. That is pretty much my goal. And I think I'll be able to do that. I don't think that'll be too bad. And you just want to always repot right when it ends. Like you're gonna see I do most of the same stuff. You don't really have to change your strat mostly. And really you just get more mental bandwidth to think about the other stuff that you need to think about. Because you don't have to think about your prayer like at all. Like you're really not gonna have an issue as long as you keep killing stuff. Just want to pray against the blob. You can go kill the blob. Try to drag this melee down. Actually, it gets stuck there. It's fine though. Do a little more barraging. It's unlucky. Pretty unlucky. It's not Hawkeye, I swear, it's just unlucky. Yeah, I'm literally going, my goal here is I'm going to try to flick as little as possible. And when I get to Jad and on, I can just... When I get to Jad and onward, I'll be able to just pray rigor because I'll have enough prayer left over, is the hope at least. I think I will be able to, so... So the goal is, yeah, that's just habit. Pretend you didn't see that. Okay, this is, yeah, just, you know, write this wave off. This didn't happen. And just keep attacking things, like, I mean, that's like really the most important part of this. You just want to not stop attacking things. These are some semi-hard waves, you just want to, like, you gotta pay attention, because not prayer flicking will make you kind of not think a lot, so you want to keep trying to make sure you're not making any silly mistakes. Pray melee for the melee. Actually, I can't hit you from here, I guess, but that's fine. You can spec whenever you have spec. Don't want to let your spec stay full too long. And I mean, the pace is like literally the same as if you were using rigor, more or less. So this is like, I'm just, yeah. I mean, I'm still in shock that this is as good as it is, really. Now this mailer gets trapped on that mailer, but if you weren't sure, you could kind of round the corner or whatever. $730 into Ranger. Well, not quite, but just about. So you see, I literally have not turned this prayer off yet, nor do I think I will. And a lot of these times, like when you see me not killing something, you might like blame it on the lower level prayer, but truthfully, you just get unlucky even if you're using rigor. That's just, sometimes I'm turning this off because of habit, I'm doing things as a habit, but really you can just camp it the whole time, which I'm gonna try to do. You see, I'm just constantly trying to kill stuff. Don't have to do any flicking whatsoever here. You can turn off range prey in between waves if you want. Probably don't even need to. I mean, we'll see by the end, but I think we'll have plenty of prayer. Some nice easy waves. Gotta be careful about 28 to 31. Those are a little more difficult, but until we get to there, we're not gonna have to worry too much. So here I'm just focusing on flicking the blob and the ranger. So I don't have to worry about my prayer, so I can put all my mental energy into flicking stuff properly. And you see I'm still killing stuff relatively quick, so flick the blob. That was, I just didn't flick either of those. It's fine. You can heal off the blob here. You see, I see the red outline. I just move to kill the next thing. Like, my focus is not missing ticks. Is like 90% of my focus. The other 10%'s not taking silly damage. I'm gonna flick the blob. I'm gonna kill these things. Not a lot to say here. Is pretty easy waves so far. I mean, that one was probably the hardest one yet, but really all I did is flick the ranger and the blob and kill the bats. Here I'll round the corner and I'll just 2-tick flick these ones. If they see you at the same time, you pray range on the tick the ranger attacks and the tick after, and you pray mage on the other 2 ticks. If you just know how to 1-tick flick, you can do that too. That's totally fine. Just a little bit more clicking involved. Unlucky barrage hit. Going to turn off the prayer, but don't even need to. It's already wave 25, going really fast. Like really, like you can even compare the pace of this one to the pace of the previous video if you feel like it. You'll see it's, you know, it's definitely worse. I'm not saying it's not worse. Not worse overall, but like slower. But worse is subjective, and I would say this is like better in a way. I mean, I feel like the effort I'm putting in here is so little. I'm just sitting here killing stuff. I haven't even turned this off. It's just chilling there. I got 4 whole brews in case I make any mistakes. I doubt I'll use them all, but it's good to have them there just in case. And if you felt like you needed a second stamina, you could totally take a second stamina, but I don't really find I need it unless I'm taking chins or something, which I probably wouldn't do with this strat. I mean, maybe I'll cook something up in the future with that, but I think for now I'm cool just doing chill ones like this. This is actually, like, I might continue doing these like this. It's actually, it's surprisingly good. You see, I'm not even turning it off in between waves. We're 14 minutes in, we're almost at wave 28. That's like, it's like really just as good paces with rigor, as like crazy as it is. It's because, I mean, a lot of your bonuses are from potion, from task, so it's not like you're getting no bonuses. Like, you still have a lot of the same DPS that you would have had, but really just the ease that this gives you in doing this is like pretty crazy to me. Like, even still, I mean, I've already done a run with it, but even still, like, I'm still in shock at just how good this is. Keep flicking the blob. Unfortunate. Really just still killing stuff. Not too much to say yet. I mean, obviously when we get to the late waves, you have to be pretty careful. Because, I mean, it's just the inferno still at the end of the day. Oops. It's fine. I want to kill this melee, actually. I don't want it to dig. It gets annoying. These waves are a little harder than the other ones were, but still not too bad, and don't have to worry about prayer flicking at all, so that obviously makes it a little easier. Didn't even mean to do that. That's another force of habit. It's fine though. Nice, I got the bat with it too. Didn't even mean to do that. Here we can actually drag this meleeer up on the... Actually, yeah, the ranger will trap the meleeer. It's fine. Nothing too crazy. I mean, that wasn't like the easiest wave, not gonna lie, but nothing you probably couldn't handle. I want to be careful here. Gotta wait a sec here. That was not what I meant to do. Took an extra blob hit, but it didn't do anything. See if I can kill this meleeer, that would be nice, but if I can, I can move north and it'll get trapped. It's fine, so you can move up there to the near that marked tile if that were to happen when it was still alive. Trap it on the corner. Blood barrage some. Try to miss as few ticks as possible. That's like really the main focus. Main thing I'm trying to show you. Wave 32. It's a little bit easier. Whoops. Not ideal. If you move one tile away from the ranger's melee range, you can hit stuff behind it. Just like really nice tip. So here I'm just killing the melee behind. I'm gonna move over to the other side so I can move towards the thing hitting the pillar. Yeah, we're down 2.5 prayer potions, but that's really nothing when you think about it. Considering we're already almost at the major. And I've done as minimal prayer flicking as I could to this point. I mean, really the most prayer flicking you have to do is when there's a blob and another 4-tick, whether it's a ranger or a major. That's you're most likely gonna have to flick. But you definitely won't have to flick to conserve any prayer, so that's pretty much the goal here. Alright, start of the major waves. We're just under 20 minutes in. A little bit slower than normal, but it's not bad at all, I mean, considering. And you have all this like extra time to do other things instead of flick your prayers. Like makes everything, really just everything a lot easier. Just gonna wait till these group up and then I'll actually send a blood barrage. I'll blow pipe this one. Could also wait for it to clump up, but just wanted to save some pillar. Got 11 restore and a dose. It's plenty. Now there is a slightly higher chance that you don't kill this in time and it respawns stuff, so that's I guess something to keep in mind, but really not that big of a difference compared to normal strats. I mean, there you go, that's kind of funny timing there, but really doesn't matter. This is Mage and Blob. Gonna duck behind the pillar. Gonna kill these real quick. Two-tick flick. Now this is the other kind of two-tick flick where if you see them, see right here the blob and the mage just attacked on the same tick, that means you have to do it in a slightly different pattern. You have to have the mage prey on the tick before it attacks and the tick it attacks. And then you have to have the range prey on the other two ticks instead of the other one where I had to have my mage prey on, for example, the tick it attacked and the tick after. So there's two different ways you might have to do that. That's how you two-tick flick. Probably not the best explanation ever, but hopefully anyone who was wondering about that might have helped a little bit. You'll see me do a lot more two-tick flicking probably. Still potted, make sure you're always divined. If you bring in 3, you have plenty to get you through a 65-minute inferno, so you can just use them as soon as they run out, basically. Keep sending the blowpipe specs for a little DPS. meant to turn on rigor there, but I didn't even want to do that, so just a little force of habit again. Oops. Meant to have the bow out. That was a little rough around the edges, but just 2-tick flick these. Kill the bats real quick. Bashing again. It's a lot easier to commentate when I'm not flicking, I will say that. Although I still don't know what to say because I'm still new to this, but make sure you're praying mage at the start of the wave. I'm gonna clean up this nib here, then go kill the major. So we're gonna check to see when the blob is attacking. And if you change your prayer right after the blob attacks and start 2-tick alternating, then you'll always be in the right cycle. It's a little hard to explain how that works, but you can kind of rewind that part if you want. Maybe you'll see how I did that. It's a little complicated to explain, but I have a feel for it now, so you know, like, if the blob attacks you, you instantly change your prayer, and then you keep it there for 2 ticks, and then start alternating like that. Wave 42, cruising along. Plenty of potion left, nothing to worry about. We're gonna duck behind this pillar and not turn rigor on, because that's not what I meant to do. Didn't mean to barrage that either. Can kill this first, so it doesn't respawn. Actually, you can kill the melee first because melee takes longer to die. Also, you don't want to dig, which is unlucky that it dug right there, but not a big deal overall. Still 4 brews, can use them literally whenever. Not gonna touch my prayers. I have the tendency to want to prayer flick, but gotta hold myself back from that. Trying to prove my point here. Got 10 restore basically. Can move here. If the melee digs when you're here, you move diagonally. I'll actually show you if it does it. I'll let it dig just to show. So you can move here diagonally, and then that was the bats. That was like the bat safe spot on the north pillar. You just move diagonal, and it's stuck here. We're doing fine on the pace. Got plenty of time. I'm gonna kill this actually, because then I can drag this major in and just deal with this. Makes it a lot easier. You can step here just in case the melee digs. Do the same thing I did last wave. Digs, we move here. Send a spec. Alright, next 3 waves a little bit more difficult. Just want to stay on your toes here. But the good thing is we won't have to worry about flicking, so. You can move in to off-tick these. It's a little advanced, but it's good to practice doing that if you can get a feel for how to do that. I hear I'm going to see when the blob attacks. So they're on the cycle where you can 2-tick like this. I was just praying against the second blob hit and then started my alternating. It's unlucky that it respawned, that's fine. Doesn't have too much health, only a couple hits. Keep sipping prayers. Got 10 left for the remainder of this. That really should be enough, because you really don't go through too much when you're doing this. I don't think I've turned that off once in the past like 30 waves. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna try to kill this and then just pray melee. You can kill the major first here. It kind of depends on what you're comfortable with. Could also just tank the blob while killing the meleeer and praying melee. That's totally a viable option too. Make sure I'm potted, don't want to be unpotted. Pray against the bat. Nice, I avoided the drain. Can heal off the blob here if you want to be safe, so I'll show me doing that. I mean, you'll see, like, I mean, really, like, have I done any sweating at all? Not really. So, just like, I mean, I'm still in shock at how this method works. Like, I just made this, as far as I know, at least. I mean, I knew about, like, you know, in TOA, a lot of people use this Mystic Lore prayer with the shadow. It's pretty good. It's kind of like where I got the idea from initially, but I've never seen anyone do it in the Inferno, especially not for a sub 65. When this melee digs, I'll probably pray range for a second, hit the bat. Nice, I avoided getting drained again. Two-tick flick these. If they see you at the same time, it's always the cycle where you pray on the tick the major attacks and you pray the tick after, and then you change to range pray for the next two ticks. If they see you at two different ticks, then you have to do the other one. Little hard to explain again, but don't know if that's helping anyone there, but it's really nice to be able to two-tick though, it just saves you a lot of effort. Here I'm going to drag the major in. Pray mage around the corner. Here, if the melee digs, I'll probably go to the west side, flick the blobs and the mage. Or you could step, actually, I could step here. Flick it against the blob again. And now I have this situation, which is nice. We're 32 minutes in. It's not the fastest, but got plenty of leeway still, I would say. Supplies are looking okay. Just praying against the back blob here. I don't really care about the little blobs. They don't really do too much damage. Rather pray against the big blob. Especially when only the ranger can see you. Barrage these. Still not turning it off, I'm just keeping it on. I'm trying to prove a point here. If you really were like, you know, if you really wanted to, you could try to conserve a little bit by turning off your Hawkeye in between waves or whatever, but really trying to drive my point home here that you don't really need to do that. You see, I'm still like 4-shotting the mage or whatever that was. I can stop this from digging actually, that might be good for me. Now we're gonna wait for it to die, we're gonna move back one so this gets trapped in the pillar. We're 33 into 50. It's like not amazing. I would say like normally with rigor and everything, you'd probably be like 30 minutes into 50 if you're doing the same thing I'm doing. but it's not too bad. Only got like, what, like 13 more waves that are really hard, then the last couple are pretty easy, I would say. I mean, you gotta be careful on the last couple waves too, but they still require a little bit of precision, but you'll probably be okay if you play safe. Less hard than like 62 or 63, for instance. Just always attacking something. Never stopping attacking. If I can avoid it. Gonna redivine soon. 10 more seconds or so. I'll redivine right when this wave starts. Get a T-bow on this, can switch to blowpipe and then hit this when it comes close. So just like really focused on not missing ticks to the best of my ability. Nibs don't really matter. We only got like 12 more waves, so after I kill this major I can go deal with them. And I will, but I'm just gonna kill the major first. I think it's more important. You can blowpipe this if you want to like save ticks. I mean, there you go, I saved 3 ticks. Not really necessary, and you only want to do that if it's very, very low. Not 9 potions left. It seems like plenty to me. Gonna just kill it. I'm gonna kill some bats. Okay, off tick these. We can save the pillar. This is not really necessary, but there you go. We saved the pillar. Could have just let it kept hitting till we kill the major. It's not a big deal. Oops. Can hit the bat from behind this. I like to kill things like this. I just feel like that makes it easier. It's not really saving time. It's actually losing a little time, but loses a little time because the bat dies a little faster than the ranger. So you want to kill it last, but it's not a big deal. Take a sip of water, you know? Stay hydrated. Got the time because you're not prayer flicking, you know? Why not? I mean, does it get easier than this? Look at this. We're AFK in the inferno. Wait for the last sip to go off just in case. It's not the fastest, not gonna lie, but I think we'll still hit sub 65. And really, like, the skill level required for this. Okay, well this is a little bit of a complicated off tick, so don't have to do that. Could have went around the east of the pillar. That would have been my alternate solve. But if you can do this, then by all means. You just have to recognize when the two monsters are both northwest. Or the range and the mage, rather. Okay, here I'm gonna deal with these. They hit on the same tick, so I know I have to switch my prayer right after the range hits and start 2 ticking. Keep pumping the DPS out. 8 restores left. It's plenty. Can always like finagle the inventory a little bit if you want to. Like earlier I was taking 1 less brew because I like to do that. Look one more time against the blob. Avoiding damage is really big because then you don't have to blood barrage back your health. That'll lose you a lot of time and probably won't make this doing this method possible, but if you avoid most of the damage, you should be alright. Flick the blob. Range. Kill the bats behind it. Like oh, that was a mistake. I meant to click that one, but and the bat can't see you from this one tile next to the melee range of the ranger here, so that's also why it's nice. Tank gear. Don't forget to pray mage. So here, what we're gonna do is that. Here I'll one tick alternate because there's 2 blobs, so not sure if they're on the same tick or not. Might be able to 2 tick here, but I wasn't sure, so. Keep sipping your prayer potion. If your divine's running out, obviously I'm gonna redivine as soon as the timer runs out. If I had to brew down, I would use a dose of the regular bastion. That's what that's for. Also, if your run goes a little too long, you can use the regular bastion to just pot up after you run out of divines, but hopefully that's not the case. Here, there's I like to do this thing here. The mage gets like trapped in the ranger, I mean the melee rather, but you can run to here. They'll shift a little bit here, but you're still safe. I'm actually gonna kill that, and then we can just kill this here. Gonna have to move when the meleeer digs, but actually you can do this. So yeah, so that's a thing. If I went up here, if I went like 1 south of where I am right now, the ranger would have seen me. That's why I kind of moved into the corner. Do it again, stop him from digging. Here, if you step here, when I see him die, I can do this. And I didn't miss a tick there, as you see. So that's a good way to try to avoid missing a tick. 23 minutes left. It should be good. And we got plenty of prayer left still. And I've literally not turned it off, so. Here, if the melee digs, you always want to think about what you do if the melee were to dig. I would probably move to the west for range. So if that happens. Also, you could also step to this tile that I was using, but you'd have to flick the mage in the range. I don't really want to have to do that. But you could if you wanted to, and then you could diagonal move and just keep praying mage. Here I'll probably round the corner. Hit the ranger once just while the melee is in its dig animation. Would like to save that pillar, but if I'm not able to, it's not a big deal. Move back around. Here we can start moving towards that pillar to save it, if possible. It might die here. No, it's still alive. 1 more wave, it'll live. That's good. Do a little blood barrage when it's dead. 7 restore, it's definitely enough. Start killing the melee. I like if you can kill the melee or the bat here, it's probably fine to do. Yeah, the mage can respawn it, but not a huge deal. Kill that. Stay on the mage. And I guess at this point, you could probably start camping rigor, honestly. Like, there's a certain point where, and it's coming up soon. I mean, it's hard for me to judge it, but eventually, you know, whether it's this wave or maybe like after 63, you could probably just start camping rigor at that point, depending on how much supply you still have. I mean, here we still have quite a lot. We're not gonna have to worry, really. You know, I'll just play a little safe here. We're gonna barrage this. Can phantom it. Got some HP back. Pray against the blob. Okay, those die, that's fine. North pillar's a little low, just want to be a little careful of that. When this melee digs, I can move 1 south, and the major will be re-corner trapped. If you move right against the north face of the pillar towards the west, like towards these tiles, you'll move the major up, and then you won't be able to re-corner trap it. You maybe see what I'm talking about here. So for example, the melee digs here, the major would be corner trapped there. But if you move to the west, then the major would kind of drag to see you. And then you'd have a bit of an issue. But because we kept the major situated there, we were able to just re-corner trap it. 45 minutes in, that's pretty fine. Probably gonna finish the waves around like 50, 53, 54. It's not gonna be as huge of a margin as the last video. The last video I had a pretty big margin, but still should be, I think we're still in sub 65 range for sure. If there's a ranger or a major and a melee on the other side, there'll always be off-ticked if you just start here. And actually kill the meleeer here. Kill the bat. Just flicking the bat, try not to get drained again. If you get drained one, you don't have to worry too much. I might repot anyway, just because I don't think I'm gonna need 4 doses of regular Bastion, but not a huge deal. Being 111's not the end of the world. Honestly, we're fine on time. This melee digs will just round the corner. It's fine. This gets corner trapped here. You can't attack the melee from here, you have to move up one. Not like that, like this, sorry. But here I'm just gonna flick the blob. So if the major's corner trapped like that, you can move here, but then say if you move here, for instance, it moves it around the corner. That's what I was trying to talk about the other wave. Nice and easy, make sure you're keeping your prayer up. 62 and 63, little hard, so just be vigilant. We're gonna kill the meleeer here and pray melee. You can turn rigor on if you want. I'm really trying to prove my point here. I'm very stubborn about proving my point. Two-ticking the mage and the blob. You see, I really don't think I've turned off Hawkeye this whole entire time, which I'm pretty proud of, not gonna lie. I think that's pretty cool. I literally have not tried to turn it off. I think I did at the beginning once or twice, but pretty proud of what I've been able to do so far. Can move here. Now if the melee digs, we just move diagonal. If you miss a flick or two against the blob, like, you know, it kind of looks a little complicated what I'm doing, but even if you miss a flick or two, you're probably gonna still be fine. Can always heal the blob at the end. For instance, you can Phantom Barrage against this pillar like this. So say I like missed a couple flicks, just do this. Gonna just do this so I can heal off the nib. I'm leaving it on. You could Phantom that nib too, but I didn't really think to do that for some reason. It's fine though. I'm gonna kill the meleeer. That's like my go-to move in this situation. I gotta change my prayer right after the mage attacks because it's this cycle where the mage and the blobs see me or attack me at the same time rather. Want to clear this pillar as soon as I can. I thought that blob saw me, that's why I did that. This melee dig is going to show you what to do if it digs here. Pray against the blob. If you go one more north, you'll untrap the meleeer, so you don't want to do that. And you got to be kind of quick with that. If you're too slow, it'll untrap it as well. Doing fine though, there's like really nothing to worry about here. You could kill this blob against the pillar if you want to be safe. I'm just more on the saving time sort of team here. 64, 65, 66, fairly easy. Still gotta be a little careful. These are gonna be off ticked, so I'm just gonna start hitting the meleeer. They always are, unless you drag it at like a weird timing, but so that's like the one case where they might not be, but even then you just step under the meleeer and off tick them yourself. Don't really care about that pillar. Six restore left, like totally plenty. I'm gonna have like multiple left over. And I haven't turned it off one time, so you know, and you totally could too. Like, you could totally try to conserve some if you felt like it, but really it just goes to show that, you know, the Devout Boot's pretty strong. And Hawkeye pretty strong, as it turns out. You could start like, I'm just gonna finish the waves without doing anything crazy, but you could totally pray rigor here if you needed, or if you felt like. Actually, I just will. I mean, I'm just gonna show, like, at this point I've saved enough prayer. Still have 4 brews if I make any mistakes at the end. And the rest of this is super, super easy. 52 minutes in, we got some minutes to spare even. I'm gonna try to not fumble and zuck like I did last time. You know, not that I died or anything, but did not have a clean one last vid, that is for sure. Wow, it does feel good having rigor on, not gonna lie here. And yeah, we just can't pray, we don't need to pray flick. 6, like 5.5. It's like plenty. Don't have to kill these. Try to bring them down about the same. And yeah, we've gotten through the waves prayer flicking minimally. We did have to flick against the monsters, obviously, but really nothing too crazy. Want to make it here in time for the Jad. Yeah, I'm still not gonna do any flicking. You want to stand on this tile. I think I explained it in the last video, but if you didn't watch, then this tile basically prevents the... It tends to make the healers spawn in a good way. They get trapped on you, or they get trapped on each other a lot. I just kind of brain lagged, but still good. Meant to do that differently, but that works, I guess. Healer can't heal him unless he's right against him, so... You can pray melee here if you feel like. But also you got, you know, if you're in this situation, you have 4 brews left, so... Not much need. Nothing crazy here. Just focus for the triples. Don't want to die to triples. And after you see one Jad's projectile, you can pray against the next one. Basically how I do it. And you see I move 1 tile north. If you move 1 tile north, sometimes 2 tiles north, or south, you'll trap the healers like this, which is another reason that this spot is good. You didn't see that, so yeah. Yeah, you didn't see any of that. You didn't see anything. Just gonna brew. That's what the brews are for, right? I didn't get chanced, you got chanced. Oh man. Trying to unstack the healers there. Like the blowpipe spec, just to use a little spec. Could also move to the north here, but this is fine too. You also don't have to blowpipe at all, I just like to do it. I think it's fun. But not at all needed. You can just T-bow all the healers. Zuck should take about like 5 minutes or so, killing everything. So got a lot of time to spare, like 2 minutes to spare. And I don't even think this was, I think this could have been even a little faster. And obviously, you know, you could obviously bring dragon arrows, dragon darts, makes it a little easier as well. Gonna keep Brigger on. You want to have your prayer on already, so you can get the first hit with the prayer on. And then always right click him in the cutscene. It's kind of, you know, basic stuff, but just in case you didn't know. And yeah, this is really great DPS. Yeah, not amazing, but it's okay. We have like 6.5 more minutes for Zuck, so I think we'll be okay. Got so much restore. It's actually ridiculous. When you consider, you stop and think that I didn't really flick like hardly at all, and I still have 3.5. That's kind of crazy. Major's gonna spawn here. If you're on task with a T-bow, you can just ignore this for a second. This is what I like to do here. Do one more shot on Zuck. Don't want to move too quick because he didn't shoot the shield yet. We can redivine here. It's a good idea. And now you hit the major. Pray mage. Now we hit him under 600, and you see that way I took 0 damage, which is really, really good. That's what you want to do if you're on task with a T-bow. If you're not on task with a T-bow, you might want to be a little careful with that, because the shield takes damage is the downside of that. But if you're on task with a T-bow, it doesn't even matter if you're in like max gear, you should be fine to do that. It's a method I really like. In the major, just in case I deal too much damage to Zuck here. Come on. Come on, T-bow. Yeah, not really getting great RNG on the T-bow hits either here. There you go, that's something. Alright, now we kill the major. So much supplies left. Like, this is like, so much supplies. I just messed up there, but it doesn't matter. We have so much time left, so much supplies, just have to not die, essentially. Not hit a max hit there, that was a little risky, not gonna lie. Don't do that. Because if I max hit, then it might spawn the Jad. Probably not desirable. Jad's coming. Gonna kill Jad, we're not doing anything fancy. We're chilling here. Just don't move too fast. Make sure Zuck attacks the shield. Wait here for the Zuck attack. Alright, here I'm just gonna play safe. Couldn't hit the healers, but it's fine. They kind of spawned in a awkward timing, but it's okay. We just spell barrage these now. You can pray melee in between if you're comfy. If you're not, you have like, if you were in this situation, you had 3 brews, you could just not pray melee. I'm used to it, so we're just gonna pray melee. In between. Instead, you can pray melee here to block the last healer attacks. And now we got 3.5 minutes to finish it off, which is definitely doable. Gotta not fumble the healers. You know, hopefully I do better than the last one. We're gonna brew here. Those are big hits. I was like brewed down there for that. That's kind of crazy, actually. Okay. Good so far. Gonna wait for it to do his next hit, and then I'm gonna tag these next 2 healers. Can do this. Want to not go too far ahead of the shield, but I knew he just attacked, so I had a bunch of time there. Finish this healer. T-bow, I almost called him Jad, but, you know, basically Jad, I guess. Same deal. Totally have like plenty of brew, so don't even really want a redemption here. I'll just eat up, because really wouldn't want to risk dying through a redemption. That would kind of suck. Pot up, and it's as good as ours. Just need to not do anything crazy. 2 more minutes, that's plenty. Should take about another minute maybe. Guess it depends on our RNG. I mean, you could just keep missing. It's happened to me before, and it is happening currently, so. I will say, like, the hits on this Zuck, not really that good. Definitely a little below average for sure. But it looks like we're still gonna be within the time, so you gotta consider. I guess I'm not too used to the commentary thing, so it's been kind of interesting to try that. couple more hits. That's a big one. One more. We got a minute and a half to hit one more hit. Let's go. Moving 4 times in between each T-bow hit. That's how many ticks I have in between each T-bow hit. And there you go. That's sub 65 and had 2 brews, 2.5 restore left. And yeah, I mean, I had to make a video on that because I just thought that was like, just the fact that I could do that with like so little prayer flicking, I thought that was so cool. So I thanks anyone who stuck through that. If you watched all the way to the end, then you're a legend. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool myself. I just really felt the need to share that because I don't know. I just think that's so cool. Hawkeye OP. So just so you know, like Sharp Eye is half the prayer drain of Hawkeye, and Eagle Eye is double the prayer drain of Hawkeye. So, but Eagle Eye only gives 5% more. So Hawkeye is basically the most prayer efficient of all the range prayers, and that's why, like, kind of why I had this idea. Because you might say like, oh, why not one of the other prayers? And that's basically why it's the most efficient per damage boost. So yeah, and that's just proof you can do sub 65 with very minimal flicking. So this guy. Um, yeah, so I mean, hope that helps someone. Hope someone found that interesting. I mean, I just made that on a whim. So yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. Leave a like or comment. I guess that's what people say, right? I don't do these, so I don't know what the hell people say, but thanks for watching and peace out.